Hey traders, and welcome to this week's weekly stock wrap up and outlook. Now, if you remember last week, we were looking here on the S&P again, basically saying that we'll possibly see a spike higher and then possibly take out the shorts that had been short last week and potentially take out the ones from back here. Now, we didn't spike as high as here, but we did take out any shorts that were in here over the past week. We got a nice spike up and then closed at a very nice pin bar rejecting this area, which was a good enough signal for me to go short, and I was scaling into the short. Unfortunately, I got stopped out. Let me see. So basically, started getting short in here, had a stop up here, started scaling into the position, so this is a more advanced trade management style, and scaled into the position, basically keeping risk at 1%, but the trade potential, there was about 4 trades put on, so it could have been 4 times the move basically. So basically, in a roundabout way, I had 4 1% trades on, but I managed the risk down to 1%, which meant tying in the stop, and unfortunately that meant that, I got stopped out as soon as price spiked up here. Whenever that happened, I didn't re-enter. I wanted to see what way I rejected because it felt kind of trappy. I've seen this price action before. It either goes down quite aggressively from this area or it traps and ramps. And what we've seen was the trap and ramp. And unfortunately, I got caught in that. So not a bad thing because it helps my portfolio in the other stocks, which is the main thing. But this was sort of like a hedge against any downturn in the portfolio. Unfortunately, just one of those things. It could have been a big trade if it had went down to my projected area, which was down 2640 area. I would look to cover, basically because 2640 is the support. So if we look here in the daily, you can see in the intraday support area. We would have been playing the range, so the resistance up here, support here. Now, going into next week, I'm pretty sure we'll see something along the lines of anyone who was short here with a stop here, which is where my original one was, will get very, very likely get stopped out. And from that, we're extremely close to these other stop areas as well. And this could fuel a larger move higher. May have something like this again where we just explode higher and then reject. So we could have something like a quick blow off and then rejects. We've seen this happen before, and sometimes this is pretty critical. It can then do this move down. So I'll be watching for any signals again. If there is anything, I'll be looking with a much more aggressive bias, depending what way we go. If we come back down here and we get a nice signal down here instead, could be a nice signal to see about potentially going long up into this key 3000 area if that was to happen, or at least up until this zone here. Now, not much more to go over on that one, just keeping that. I'm going to blog about it, see a couple of potential areas. If it does happen, if we see, there's going to be a very specific criteria I want to see. If we don't see it, I'm not going to trade it. And that's basically the height of it. So volatility did increase a little bit whenever the S&P went down, but it's not really worthy of watching or trying to trade if you're looking at this. Oil got a nice sort of move. It's not been a nice sort of pop higher, and then we've seen a nice bearish engulfing. Not really one that's overly clean, but to go on Monday, I'll be looking for any rejections, any pullbacks, and signals to see if I can get any trade on this one as well. Lithium, very, very, very nice breakout of this long-term trend line, which I mentioned last week we were starting to break out of, and the week before I was saying if we were to break out of this is a good sort of long-term catalyst on a technical side. Now, what we can look to see now, any pullbacks back into this zone would be good to see, and as long as we stay above the 25, 26 area, I'll remain with a bullish bias. I'm still bullish in this market. It's more of a bullish reversal. Long term, it's still very nicely trending here. So this is a giant pullback, and just need to see how it plays out basically. Bitcoin, I'm not really interested in it at the minute. It's back into the non-interesting zones. Bit of weird price action. So we got a bit of a pop higher since the last video, and then an immediate sell-off. And yeah, it's just been doing nothing, just chop up, down, down. So ignoring crypto for now. Gold, an extremely well-formed downward sloping trend line we've been covering for the past couple of weeks. It did reject it with a nice pin bar and has subsequently dropped quite aggressively from that area. So we're coming back into a zone of potential support here. If we break that, yeah, it could head a bit further. There's a couple of ways to look at this, see how the momentum plays out first. We'll see what we're going to see if there's any trades to take. Now onto the stock specific side. Had my short-term Neo position from here. It spiked up to here. I closed the position for a decent profit, and I've re-entered again. Sorry, I had to pause the video there. Got a bit of a cough. So yeah, re-entered the position again. Tighter stop. I want to see if this actually breaks out and starts to retest the highs here around about 1350, 14 area, and see if we can get a breakout higher. I'm liking the intradays. A nice sort of flag pattern or a pennant, bullish pennant. We're starting to break out of now, so something to keep a very close eye on. PYX, no trade for the past week. Still looking at pullbacks. There's not too bad of a formation up here. Going to keep a very close eye on it for the next week. Ideally though, would love to see a large correction, and yeah, look at it a bit more closer. So Sears, this one got a bit of action over the past month or so, coming back into a zone of support. I'm going to go over this in a lot more detail in the blog post. I'll leave a link in the description as to where you can find it. All the VIP members will get access to that, so any of you guys that are watching the video, make sure to check out that blog post. And yeah, TNXP, I want to quickly go over this one. It's a bit of a I don't really like this stock. I was long for the past few days as a swing long from 190, 188 sort of area. After hours, don't know if this will show. No, it didn't. Alright, so basically after hours it spiked all of it roughly about 245, 250 area. That spike was due to a share repurchase program, and that's okay. That sounded not too bad. What transpired then a couple of hours later was the FDA done a rescind. So what it means is they basically rejected the thing that they're doing. And where was it? So if we look on Twitter quickly, so FDA company note that briefly throughout has been rescinded because in turn does not support. So yeah, not a good thing to see. And oh, here you go. There's someone's posted it. You can see it went all the way up to 270 actually. And then after hours it came all the way back down. I was already long. I seen it roughly about here when I came back to the computer, and it was halted. As soon as it unhalted, it came down. My stop was way below. Bounced up. I started to sell in here. So unfortunately, I missed this massive move. Just one of those things, but I wanted to get out of the stock in case there's any SEC halts over the weekend, and yeah, just not worth the risk. So one of those things to keep an eye on whenever you're investing in stocks. That's always a risk when you're investing or trading these stocks. It's one of those things. You can get caught in halts and whatever. But that's all part and parcel of trading and investing. So yeah, just one of those things to keep an eye on. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to subscribe to the channel here. Also, I'll leave a link in the description where you can see our Facebook group. Feel free to join that one. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.